Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I'm David Allen, or if you'd like, Super Dave. We are here to talk about Alpine 133 of the classified line. I want to say good morning to everybody in the chat today. Good morning, Sean Jones. Good morning, 610 Yojo Daddy. What's up, Super Dave, Yojo Bros? Hope you are having a phenomenal morning. Yes, so far, yes. And everybody's saying hello to each other in the chat. So we are covering another new figure with Alpine, number 133. I want to go backwards a little bit and talk about a couple of things that I had missed on my last couple of videos that I did. We talked about the Iron Grenadiers yesterday. I forgot to mention that the Iron Grenadiers as a faction has never appeared in any animation to my knowledge. They were not in Operation Dragonfire. Destro was. Destro from the Iron Grenadiers was, and Metalhead was, but to my knowledge, the Iron Grenadiers as a group has not appeared in Deke or Operation Dragonfire or any other animated content or film content to my knowledge. So I wanted to get that information out, and a little bitty sneaky thing with Storm Shadow version 2. You haven't opened them yet, Sean Jones, and loved Alpine as a child, loved this classified just as much. Well, that's great. Can't wait to get into it. So another one that I want to kind of talk about is Storm Shadow version 2. This version of Storm Shadow never appeared in Sunbow animation or Deke animation to my knowledge. There was a Super 7 Ultimate figure that showed some a cross cell like file card on the back, and it showed Storm Shadow in a animated style like Sunbow, and they just took an old still and they made him look like he was from the old Sunbow. They did the same thing with the Red Shadows as well, where they showed the Red Shadows in an animated style as well. But neither the Iron Grenadier or Storm Shadow version 2 appear in any form of animation to my knowledge. Storm Shadow has appeared many, many times in animation over the decades in different iterations. He was in Resolute, he was in Sigma 6, he was in a bunch of other stuff, but that version did not appear as far as I'm aware. If you guys have different information, you can correct me in the chat. So now we're going to go back to Alpine. So we're going to go to Dan Klingsmith's series of books first off, and we're going to cover a little bit of Alpine's history. So this is Creating G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Volume 2 by Dan Klingsmith Jr. So the first thing we can see is there was a lot of ideations and turnarounds for this character in the vintage era, that they could not decide what he was going to look like, and so they had a lot of different color ideations for him. So let's read Alpine's history a little bit. Alternate names: Rappel or Rock Pile. Interesting. Year release 1985, designed by Ron Rudat. Again, Ron Rudat designed most G.I. Joe figures from 82 to 87, with the exception of a handful of characters and vehicle drivers. with the introduction of snow serpents and the forces of Cobra spreading their army across the world, Ron designed Alpine to combat Cobra in the mountainous and Arctic conditions. According to Greg Bernston, senior designer, the idea was to pattern him after the 10th Mountain Division, originally known as the 10th Light Division, Alpine. So you can see there's a lot of turnarounds on this page here. Oops, this page here with his accessories and his gear and stuff like that, and the sculpt. And then on this page, you can see all the different color ideations, with the primary one being the main variation of Alpine. So then we're going to go to Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe by Carson Metaxas and 3D Joe's. And we're going to cover Alpine's vintage package. And there's his vintage package next to barbecue. There. There. So I can get a little closer to that. And you can see all that gear that he comes with. So that is volume 2, and the other one was volume 2 as well. In fact, they're both volume 2. And then we get Alpine's first appearance, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 45, by Larry Hama and Marvel Comics in the 80s. And then we get to his Sunbow first appearance. His first appearance in Sunbow is during the Pyramids of Darkness miniseries, where he teamed up with his partner and cohort, Bazooka. And Bazooka was made quite a long time ago. So this is figure 133. I would say that Bazooka was made in the 30s, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around the 30s. And so we've waited more than 100 figures to get to Alpine to join Bazooka. People have been trying to get Alpine. They've been begging Hasbro and Classified to make him for quite a long time. We ended up with 2 Bazookas in the time that we've waited for Alpine. And then we also got Quick Kick, that is their friend, and that joined them in that miniseries as well. So then we have the vintage figure. We'll open that up. We have a backpack. This looks like it might be a weapons pack backpack, a weapons pack version of the backpack for Alpine. So just to clarify, that may not be his original. He may have had a green one, I think. I could be wrong. So then we have his pickaxe there that he does a lot of his climbing with. And then he has this little Uzi gun there. And he's in pretty good shape. He's solid. There's no wobbling. There's no defects with him. He's got everything, and he's pretty sturdy. So there's your vintage Alpine. There. Alpine is one of those characters that he was a good character. I have nothing against the character. I just think some of the yodeling and some of the gags and stuff that they did in Sunbow, Bazooka, and him, I didn't care for it that much, and so it turned me off of the character. That's one of the cases where the Sunbow animation turned me off of a character, where I might have enjoyed it more if it wasn't, if they didn't do all that stuff in there. But you know, it's just one of those things. Not every character is going to be a hit with every child when they're looking at these things, when they're younger in the store. And Alpine was one of those characters that didn't really jump out for me as a child. And so he's always been kind of a, type character. So now we're going to get into his Classified figure. So you can see his stern, serious, demure on that package because he's climbing a mountain. He's concentrating, and he's 133 in the classic Hasbro classified line. We've started with, again, 00 Snake Eyes, and we are now up to 133 with Alpine. And this is funny. On his package, it says Alpine, Albert Alpine Pine. So they combined his first and his last name to come up with Alpine. I think that's really funny. I did not know that until I got this. So then, let's see. We've got the QR code, and we have the target artwork and the designations. So we're going to check his designations out. Let's see, what do we have here? We have the shield with the star. Shield with the star. So that's environmental specialist. We have the nice knife, which I think is bladed weapons. We have the recon periscope, and we have the pickaxe and carabiner. So I'm guessing that is mountain environmental expert of some sort. I don't have it on my list here, but I'm pretty sure it's mountain and climbing skills. I'm sure it's on my other list, but I'm almost 100% that's what that is, because it has a carabiner and it has a pickaxe. So I'm going to say mountain climbing skills for all of his designations. So then we get the artwork, and he is climbing down the mountain. The photography artwork by Shooting the Galaxy, Matt and Mike, and then a couple call outs on the side there. You have some trouble bubbles in the background. You have some crystals here protruding from the mountains, and you have him climbing up the mountain. He looks pretty good in that scene there. And then you have the loadout of the figure with all of his accessories. Looks really good. Let's get him out of his package. And this is a Joe figure, and we've got the stars and stripes in the interior of the package there. And let's see what else. Yep, so we'll put him down there, and then we'll get him out of his package. So just right out of the package, I think he looks very, very vintage inspired, very, very close to his vintage figure, and a very good team compatriot to Bazooka in this figure. Good morning, BJ RN Jacob Benison. Sad he did not come with a backpack. Yeah, that was an issue with classified. A lot of figures that you would expect that would come with a backpack, especially with all the gear he has on and stuff like that. Maybe they thought maybe that would be too cumbersome for this particular character in classified. I don't know. Their decision-making processes on the backpack has been a mystery from the very beginning on this. A lot of people have had problems with these backpack missing from certain characters like the Dreadnoks and other characters, but it seems like an obvious miss on Alpine, unless I am missing something that classified saw, but definitely, yeah, because he has this little pouch on the back of his belt. He's got these belts all over with loops, and he's got the rope, and he's got all kinds of gear on him. So it makes sense that he would have the next step would be the backpack. Maybe some of this gear would be on that. I just don't know. But as the vintage figure goes, he does have the rope like the vintage one, and he has on his shirt here Idaho. If you can see inside there, if I can move some of that, it says Idaho there So I'm guessing that's where he's born, Alpine. I like these cool mountain climbing boots that he's got. I like the fact that they gave him a lot of different deco hits, like the browns and blacks in his jacket, all around the jacket, and then the pouches and his fatigues and the boots with the black and the green. A lot of different deco hits. The rope is taupe color, and then there's some orange and blue on that t-shirt with that Idaho logo there. And I think this is a very nice face print on this figure as well. When you get really close to that, it looks really good. I think they did a very good job with that face print. It's different, it's distinct, it's original, and he kind of resembles the O-ring vintage figure in a lot of ways. So I do like that, and I think they did do a lot of new with this figure. I don't know how much of this is reuse. He obviously has a lot of the same articulation points. He's got the butterflied shoulders, the double pinned elbows, double pinned knees, the foot rocker, the foot ankle articulation, the thigh, the calf, the ab crunch there, the head rocker articulation, the wrist articulation. He does not have a secondary wrist articulation. He does have the crotch and leg articulation. So he's got 90% of the articulation points except for the secondary wrist and the bendy wrist, which I think he really could use that bendy wrist one, but he does not have that. And I like a little bit of that articulation and design in the shirt there to give the wrinkles and stuff you can't really get there. You can kind of get a good view of that to make it look like he is wearing a t-shirt underneath that secondary. So I really like that t-shirt. I think it looks really realistic and stuff like that. And that tampo of that Idaho logo is really cool as well. And then, like I said before, he's got this little pouch on the back of his belt, and he's got two secondaries on the sides, the left and the right, where he's got loops and stuff like that. So we'll see where all this accessories are gonna plug in on this figure. It should look pretty interesting when I have everything put together. So we're gonna get his hat out. I'm glad they gave him his hat, his mountain climbing hat. So we'll put that on him there. Yeah, it looks very, very similar. Very, very similar to his vintage. The difference is the hat in the vintage is brown, and they did a green hat on the classified to match some of the deco that he already had. So there, my vintage one fell, and now I have to pick him up. There. Put him back in there. He wanted to go yodeling, I guess. He wanted to climb. So we'll put him there. All right, so then now we're going to get to some of his pickaxe. I like the fact that one of the few figures that they gave the rope to, he was one of those ones. If they didn't give him the rope, people would have been furious. They've only given this to like two people. I think it is with one of the 60th figures, and I think Snake Eyes version 4 has it, and I think there may be one other person that has the rope. One of the ninjas might have the rope. It might be the Night Creeper. I'm not 100%, but I'm very glad they gave him the grappling hook with the rope, because that's very important for this character. And then he has a little harpoon that you can tie the rope into. There's a little harpoon, orange harpoon, and if you get really close, you can see that little loop that you can tie this into. So there, and then we have a couple of pickaxes, 1, 2, and they have little movable blades on them. Both of them do, and they have a lot of deco. So one of them has a little orange and green on it there, and one of them just has orange, and they both have the silver blades. And the silver blade, it doesn't go up and down. I thought it did, but it doesn't. So the fact that they gave these both all that deco hits to make it more realistic is really good. It shows that they were trying to give these characters as much as possible within that price point. So then we have his goggles. So we're going to put his goggles on his helmet, and see what that looks like. Or put his goggles on his face and we'll put the hat over. And then I want to show a little bit on the helmet a little bit as we go. So I really like these goggles. That looks really cool. You can see these goggles. They gave it like the see-through glass so you can really tell that he's underneath there. Wolf Spider came with the rope, I think. Oh, okay. I knew it was somebody 6'10". I just couldn't remember which one it was. I know there was a couple of people that had it. But then when you put the hat back on there, you get that um, that visual of the vintage figure because he had the glasses on there, and he's got the glasses on there. And a unique thing about this is he's got that chevron on his helmet on there. It's a little silver chevron on his helmet. And when you take the helmet off, there's a little bit of gray in his hair. So he is an older character. He's an expert mountain climber, and he's a little bit older. So I like the fact that they're giving these characters a little bit of differentiation of their expertise and their aging and stuff like that. They did that with Doc. They've done it with Stalker. They've now done it a little with Salt and Pepper in Alpine. And another thing is, if you look at the peg hook on the back there for a backpack, you can see the little edges of the white t-shirt underneath that secondary. So this secondary really does go all the ways around the figure, and it is layered the way that you would think it should be layered if it was a real world, real life type of a character. So this is really good. They've really gone out of their way and given this a lot of detail. So then let's get into a couple more things from his accessories. So he didn't have that little gun that he had in the vintage. He has a much bigger gun, which I like, and has a cartridge. The cartridge is removable. It's green. It goes with the deco hits that are on the gun, which is green as well on there. So it kind of matches, and it looks more like a modern gun that somebody would have in the real world military, in my opinion. There's tons of detail on this. I love all the detail they give a lot of these weapons with classified. It just shows that they care about these things, and they go out of their way to improve upon them and give it that extra 10%. And then he has this weird looking shotgun that he comes with, which I'm not sure why they gave him a second shotgun. And there's a little bitty loop on there as well. That gun has been in several figures, I believe, because of that loop. I recognize that loop. So that's the end of that. So now let's see what we can get on him as far as the accessories. I think one of these is the harpoon gun. So I think this is the harpoon gun. And so you can plug the harpoon in there. And the fact that it comes with the little rope on the grappling hook there, you can tie the loop on the little harpoon and the rope on the gun. So when he shoots it, it shoots up and it connects to that. I think that's pretty cool. Let's see where we can put these pickaxes. It'll probably be on these loops. Let's see. BJRN. His vintage gun is a Beretta M12 SMG. Oh, okay. Cool. He came with a Beretta. So I don't think any of these are Berettas, are they? So let's see. He's got the loops. So I'm going to put both of these pickaxes in the loops on his back of his thing, like that and like that. See how that looks. There. So we have one there. We have one there. So he's got the two pickaxes there in the back, and then he has the carabiners on the front there. Then we have his launching gun. So we're going to put his launching gun with the harpoon in his left hand. There, if I can get it in there. All right, so I have that in there, his harpoon gun. There. So then I'm going to try to put the grappling hook. He's got a little bitty loop. I don't know if this is going to fit in that loop. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fit in that loop. Let's see, where can we put this? He's got a lot of pouch little things on there. Maybe we can put it in one of his leg harnesses. I don't know. He's got another loop back here. Let's see. I don't know if I can get that in that loop. The problem is these loops are a little bit small, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that loop is going to fit there. I would like to get it on the figure somewhere to have all of his accessories on him, but I don't see how that is going to go on there, the grappling hook. I can put the other gun in his other arm, in his other hand, his right hand. There. And we can get that there. There, like that. Hey, good morning, Clement. Thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it. BJRN. No, that new one with green mag is a Russian AK of some sort. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. It's cool to have you in the chat to give me some of these weapons because I am not an expert on the weapons. So having someone in the chat to help me out, I appreciate it. This my channel is a very interactive channel. BJRM, you're a new person in the chat, and I really appreciate you joining us today. But it is interactive. We interact with each other and we help each other out. And these guys fill me in on different things, and it's a back and forth and stuff like that. It's really a discussion between everybody and myself. So thank you very much for joining us in that. And it's going to be really fun. I hope you enjoy being a part of this community here. So I don't know what to do with that. Maybe there's a little bit of a gap here. Maybe I can fit it in his leg thing there, like that. Yeah, I think that might work. There's a bit of a gap in his leg harness, and you can almost get that grappling hook all the ways down. So I'm going to just put it there for now. At least it's on him, and it's part of the figure. So now all the gear on this figure is that came with the figure is with him, which you guys know that's a big sticking point with me when it comes to classified, is if you can get all the gear on him. And now I have all his gear on him and he's loaded up. Look at all this stuff that he's loaded up. But it would have been easier if he had the backpack. That comment was made earlier. So I wanted to talk about a little bit more of the details on this. So we have a lot of these paddings on the jacket, different layers of padding. It's also on the hat. He's got these little stripes of different deco colors, some dark green deco stripes. He's got these brown patches on his wrists as well. And there's a lot more detail in this. You have to really get a good look at it. And some of these greens are zippers that are on the jacket. You can see the differences. And the zipper is darker green as well. And there's little deco in the collar and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different deco hits that they gave this figure to really differentiate him and to make him stand out. He's an excellent figure, I must say. The character is not one of my favorites, but I think this figure is a phenomenal figure. It looks really, really good. If I was doing my top 10 classified figures of 2024, I might have picked him in that top 10 because he looks really, really good. You guys are right about that. The brown pants are a little bit more subdued. Um, and that's a problem with the classified. I must say that they changed the color on a lot of these, where this is definitely brown with the vintage, but it's more like a, I don't know, like a dark mocha color in this one, and it's brighter with this one, the greens, and it's darker, more military drab green with this one. So there is a little bit of a difference with the color on the primary colors of the figure. But Hasbro and Classified, they definitely do the subduing of the primary colors. Maybe if they want to do another Alpine in the future as a vintage package, maybe they might change it slightly, but I don't see how you would need to. This is pretty spot on as a figure and a variation of the vintage version. I think they did a really good job with it. So I don't see us getting another Alpine. And I don't know if there ever was another Alpine. There might have been in the modern 4-inch line, a different Alpine that had shorts and he had a lot more orange on him and stuff. But I never cared for that version of Alpine. I think this version is the perfect version for mountain climbing. But you know, they wanted to mix it up and they did something different in the modern era with him. And they obviously, the classified team, they thought he needed to look like his vintage figure more, and so they did this the way they did this one. So I appreciate that. Let me get a stand and we will put him on that and we'll get him ready to go. Get a stand out there, put him on his stand, and we'll see how that works. Yeah. So now we have Alpine on his stand and he is ready to go. And we got his vintage figure right there. So we got a Cobra next. And it is another redeco for another faction that we have only got a couple of figures in this faction. So we're going to have an additional character for that faction coming up. And that'll be our next video. And then we've got a lot of new coming after. The next few videos will be a bunch of new stuff coming next once we get through this redeco of a character. Yeah, it looks like the mag came off. You're right. Terrence, where did that go? Oh, there it is. It's kind of loose. It's not on there very solid. So I'm going to have to try to put that on there. Thank you for letting me know that. I didn't even notice it until you mentioned it. Let's see if I can get it back on him and get it really tight. Yeah, it's a little loose, but hopefully it'll be all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, BJRN. I appreciate it. Do you have the Cobra Python Patrol member? I have all the Python Patrol characters. They have done quite a few Python Patrols. They've done all the vintage Python Patrol figures. They did the Televiper. They did the Crimson Guard. They did the Soldier, the Trooper, the Bat, the Viper, and they did Vipra as Python Patrol. So I have all those figures and I've done all those videos. If you go through the channel and the library, Terrence Childs, you'll be able to see those videos. But yes, I have done all the Python Patrol characters thus far in this series, because we've done everything from 00 Snake Eyes on up to 133, and they're all different numbers. Everything is numbered, and so that's how we're doing this series, by the numbers. Um, so yeah. So like I said, we got another redeco of character for a new faction coming up next, and then we got some new characters coming up after that. A couple of vehicles coming up. So if you guys haven't had the opportunity, go to the library, my channel's library, and check out my episode that I did with Woody, who's a contributor to the chat very often, who's a very cool guy. He joined me for my 2025 top classified items, and we had a little bit of news, and we talked a little bit about upcoming things coming for 2026. It was a very good conversation. Woody's a really cool guy. He and I have a lot in common. We're very, very similar mindsets when it comes to GI Joe and classified and things like that. And so he joined me on that video, and it's a little bit of a longer video, so you have to maybe have to watch in multiple parts, but it's a fairly long video. It's like 2.5 hours. So but it's a fun video. And the line just keeps getting better. Great show today and last night. Thank you, 610 Yojo Daddy. I appreciate that. You're very cool, and I really appreciate you joining me last night on that, and today, as always. I would like to get you on. Actually, you know what, 610 Yojo Daddy, something happened last night because we had so many people in the chat and so many people enjoyed that video and that discussion. We reached our 200 subs. Actually, we reached over our 200 subs, 201 subs. So we're going to do a 200 subs special. And maybe you would like to join me on that 200 subs episode. We are also very close to 250 episodes. So I may end up doing a combination of 200 subs and 250 episodes and do it all in one episode, one big episode. Thank you very much. I think it was Woody that brought a lot of people on that joined us last night. I'm not sure. There was a lot of new people in the chat, a lot of people discussing things with me that had never been in the chat before and joined in the discussion, which I was very, very happy about, because that's what I want. And this community is a wonderful community, and we have no negativity, no people that are mean and terrible. Everybody's awesome and positive. That's what I like, and that's the kind of environment that I want for my my channel. And I'm very happy so far. We've accomplished that. So yeah, I would like to do that maybe this weekend. Let me know what your availability is, 610 Yojo Daddy, in Messenger. Message me at David T. Allen, and maybe we can figure out a schedule where we can do a really fun special episode that combines the 200 subs and the 250th episode of this series, of actually of my channel, not just the series. Thank you very much, because I would like to have you join me. I would like to start having you guys join me in some of these special episodes, folks in the chat, because you guys are so cool and so awesome, and you have a lot to offer as well, a lot of you guys, and I would like to hear from you and talk to you and find out about your backgrounds and how you got into GI Joe and stuff like that. I think it would be a really cool thing to do, to get you guys involved more than you already are with these chats. So if you're interested in that, any of you guys, and joining me in an episode or some sort of special, message me, David T. Allen. Let me know who you are in the chat, because sometimes your handles in the chat are not the same thing as they are in other social media, like Lone Dragon. His is Mason Rules on Instagram, so he's a little bit different. and so on and so forth. And the same with Woody as well. So I think that would be really, really cool. So I'm going to be planning that. That'll be after the new year. So I think that covers us. We have a great G.I. Joe episode today with Alpine. And so we're going to go with Yo Joe. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you guys in the next one.